The Risky Roads podcast is back. Jake and I's schedule finally matched up, and we actually got a win. So we wanted to give our thoughts about the 7-game losing streak and the last win, and then we're recording some of this before the Northwestern game, and then we'll probably do a little more after. But yeah, some of the Northwestern game will be discussed on this episode. So obviously our opinions probably have very much changed. We were very optimistic, and now things are definitely not looking great for the team, but we will see where we're at.
Let's go Big Red.
Greg's a cheater.
I got posted with Jordan, man. Risky roads.
We said we're going to change the podcast to normal if we ever get the tournament win.
Get ready to change their name.
So we found a quiet place in the stadium here, right outside by the terrace, but not outside because it's snowing like crazy out there. So since we did our last podcast, I believe we have lost 7 games and won 1. How do you guys feel about that? By the way, we have Joel on the podcast here. We'll see if he says anything.
I think we're losing because we're not good anymore.
We lost Copeland. That kind of reeks. So that's a big L.
We were losing before Copeland, though.
Yeah, how many games did we lose before Copeland? 2?
I don't know. The game
3?
right after him, they came out and played really hard, but then they choked.
They always seem to play hard. It just has not worked. It's been pretty incredible how many just like easy shots that they've missed. It seems like they've always just missed so many layups overall, and they haven't been able to make any threes. It's just basically been shooting percentage that's been so low.
Yeah. And their defense and their depth. See, Miles screwed up, right? Because he thought the whole season he didn't have a bench, and then he needed them, and they hadn't had any experience, so we were playing with Nana really didn't play very much, and then Thor and
Thor
Brady
never
all
playing
had
a minute to starting,
all
and
had to take on big.
but he actually played better than a lot of people.
Yeah, I thought Thor, I can't remember which game it was, but the first game he started, he was like the second best, or the game before he started, he was like the second best player on the team because he was like working hard, and overall Thor is just like a good passer. It's been interesting.
Yeah, but he should have been
that's
playing more throughout the season because he would be even better.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is that we don't have a lot of passers on this team. It's basically Roby and Thor, and maybe,
Roby
I don't know, was
shouldn't be a
Copeland really a passer? No, but somehow losing him, and then it just kind of compounded that we didn't have many passers and we can't create, and now, we're just not scoring any points compared to what we were. I think every game has been...
Well, now everybody can just double team Palmer instead of, because they don't have to help off Copeland. Like, they can help off whoever Copeland.
Yeah.
I hear Glenn had a good game last time. So
First
like
time in a while.
19 maybe.
The other thing is they've kind of just, we're playing Big Ten teams now, and they figured out how to scout everybody, and so now that it's really easy to figure out Palmer and kind of, I mean, not as easy for Roby. That's why you've seen him continue to be successful. But Glenn too.
To know what he's capable of.
He never plays the same because he doesn't know what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but Glenn and Palmer are a little easier to scout and take away. And since they created so much of our offense, along with losing Copeland, it seems like we just can't do anything overall.
Very true.
I think we've scored I saw that it was going down every game at home. We scored like 65 and then 60 and then 55 and then 45 or something.
We went from winning 19 in a row at home to losing like 300.
300. So overall, do you guys think we have any chance at the tournament right now?
Yes.
I give it a 25% chance.
Whoa,
How many wins do we have?
25% chance? What, I think we have 2 more wins than we have losses, or 3 more wins than losses. I think we're like 14 and 11 or something.
Because
I
somebody
can't
said
remember.
we had to finish, once Cope got injured, they said we had to finish over 500 in the Big Ten the rest of the way out to make it to the tournament. But we still have to play Michigan and Michigan State and Iowa, I think.
I don't know, it'll really depend on the committee. I don't think
Yeah,
it's 25%. I think it's more like 5, especially because we're just playing really bad. Like, even if the committee really wants to put us in and we lose every game, we're not going to get in. And
We'd have to
that's
win.
what I've kind of seen from the team lately. Even Minnesota, we only won by 1 point, and they're not great.
Even if they won out, they'd still have to win like 2 or 3 in the Big Ten.
I don't know about that, but it's kind of interesting. Somehow, you guys know net rank? That's the thing I always talk about, and it's the main thing that they look at. Somehow we're still ranked 40 in net rank.
Well, if that's what they
Which-
based off of, then we
Somehow that doesn't seem right to me at all. I think we went down in the 7-game losing streak from like 20 to 40, which is pretty ridiculous to me. You'd think you'd fall like maybe to like
But weren't they all
75 or
close,
80.
though?
Not really. Like a lot of them, I mean, a lot of them we were losing by 10, 15. I mean, they're all, I guess, good teams, but you'd think the committee, that's why they have real people, not just like a ranking system to fix problems like Nebraska.
I don't know, I'm just, Dave. Rutgers just hit a 3 to go up 1-1 over Iowa with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, speaking of Iowa, they beat Northwestern, who were about to play, and Northwestern was up, I think, 10. I was just watching the last like minute of the game. They gave up a 10-point lead in the last minute.
Bro, freaking
It was so bad. It was
Or
pretty
not
funny.
Indiana, Louisville.
Louisville,
Did you
what?
see what they did today?
No.
They were, well, you know how they lost to Duke, and then today they were up 7 with 12 seconds left, and then it got cut to 1 with 3 seconds left, and they inbounded the ball and threw it to the other team, and they had 2 shots to win, down by 1, and they didn't make them. So Louisville got bailed out, and they almost choked it again. They almost choked it away again.
Yeah, so that's a solid few minutes before the game. Maybe we'll bring you guys a little more afterwards. Hopefully we get the win tonight. We were just watching the end of the Iowa game. It bounced off a player's hand, and then I think it was a Rutgers player's hand, and it fell into somebody else on the 3-point line.
Iowa's the only team in the Big Ten you'll see with 4 white guys on the floor with 3 seconds left.
That's 2 buzzer beaters that they've had in their last 3 games, basically. Hits both their hands at the same time, and then he banks it from the corner. That's incredible that went in. So we're back after the game. We'll see if any of the audio that we recorded inside PBA will even be usable. But for now, we'll use this. Nebraska just got the win over Northwestern, 59-50, giving them a 2-game win streak after what I think was a 7-game losing streak. And Northwestern and Minnesota aren't exactly hot teams right now. Northwestern fell to 12-13 at the end of today's game, and I mean they only scored 50 points, so they obviously weren't playing super well.
Played good defense, though. Like
We did play good defense, but also I felt like basically anytime they had an open shot, I was like, they're
Yeah,
definitely
that's
gonna
true.
miss this. Like they didn't have any good shooters really. Let's see. So obviously today was the Roby game. He's probably had a few of them, but today was probably his best. He had, what was it, 19
points.
19 points, 16 rebounds, which is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that's a ton. And then 2 assists, 2 steals, 5 blocks. So, and that one 2-handed block, which is so
Yeah,
rare and just, it was so cool. But besides that, nobody really played well. Amir Harris played pretty well. He was 1 for 1 and had a steal and a rebound. But Glenn was 5 for 12. I guess that's a pretty good game, actually. A little under 500, or not 50% field goal percentage, but that's not a bad game. He had 12 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, and 6 rebounds. So with that those stats, that's pretty good. Thomas Allen was 3 for 9. Palmer was 3 for 17.
Yeah,
But it looks like he had at least...
He got to the line a lot.
Yeah, he had a lot of free throws, which is good. Because he took about the same number of shots as Roby did, but then he only had like 6 less points after. I mean, Roby actually wasn't super efficient. That's kind of weird. He was 7 for 19, which
Yeah.
I need to stop expecting guys to be at 50%. At
Well,
this
yeah, that's
point,
ridiculous.
we're scoring 59 points.
I mean, the
in
team
every
shot
game.
32%. So
Yeah. So maybe we need to go down to 40% and say that's good. Especially, like, during the beginning of the year, I feel like 50% was kind of average and you could hold the team up to that standard. But I think as we get into conference play, like even I saw Michigan beat Maryland like 65 to 52.
Yeah, definitely
and
the
those are
scores are going
like
down.
really good teams. It's just like, I guess they scout you really well and it's really hard to score. Overall on free throws, we won pretty big. 11 for 14 and they were only 5 for 8. There were very few free throws, which
I mean, they
is
didn't call a
always
lot
nice.
of fouls.
They kind of haven't been in conference. And Northwestern was just terrible. I mean, 35% from the field.
They shot better than us, though.
But 20% from 3. And, well, we only shot 27. Wow.
We just had a lot more
We had so many more
possessions just from steals. and-
turnovers. It was pretty huge. They had so
Offensive
many
rebounds.
travels. There were
Yeah.
like 4 travels in a row or something in like 5 minutes there. But yeah, it was about even on rebounds, and we just had a lot more possessions because of those. But let's talk a little bit more just in general about how the team's doing. So basically what I put on Instagram was this game, Roby played really well. I guess Glenn played okay. But last game, Glenn and Palmer played well, and Roby didn't, and we were able to beat Northwestern and Minnesota, but I'm not convinced that they're going to be able to beat some of the better teams that we're going to need to beat if we're going to make the tournament somehow after a 7-game losing streak.
I just don't know. I don't know. It's just rough. We had to lose so many.
Yeah, it's just like at that point it kind of felt like pointless, but those are the games where if you would have beaten, I can't even remember who was in the middle of those, like Purdue or one of
If you
those
just
bad
win one or
teams.
two games,
Yeah, then you
it
kind
makes
of
such a big
have
difference.
a better chance at it. But it'll kind of come down, a lot of it will be how the committee seeds it, like to see if we even have a chance. Like last year we thought we had a chance and then we got seeded 5th in the NIT. If it's the opposite this year, maybe if you win the 3 out of the next 6.
I mean, maybe
And
they
then a
look at the beginning of our
tournament
season
game or
and
two.
give us like a shot thinking we can pull it back around and play like we were earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing that I'm also worried about is you can say that we played well, and at the beginning of the season, and they could kind of give us it based on that. But also with Copeland being out,